All right, we're super busy in the shop today. It may not look like a lot, but we got a bunch of huge repairs in here, and they're actually really cool, interesting repairs. Some of our, you're not gonna see a lot of these in the world, so let's go check them out, right? I think we're gonna go check out an Audi first. Oh yeah, this thing's all torn apart. So this car had a check engine light, pretty basic stuff. It had a cam fault. It's a P0341 for an in-paint cam position. You can go in the Audi Volkswagen stuff, you can go into measured block values and see how far off it is, and it has to be within plus or minus 5 degrees, right? So we'll like run the car at 2,000 RPM, check the actual cam timing versus the specified cam timing, and this one is just barely off, right? And so there's a plug in the timing chain cover that we open up and look at, and so you can count how many ratchets the timing chain is stretched. And this one is at 6, and like the number, like 7 is the it's done number, and it was at 6. So we're like, oh, it needs a timing chain, no big deal. Mind you, when we're doing big repairs like this, we're always looking as we go through, like, hey, what are we finding? What are we finding? Oddly enough, when we pull this timing chain, actually it's right behind you, we check the timing chain, like how much off is it? It's not as off as we thought it was gonna be. Like it's definitely stretched, but when I see these stretched causing fault codes, they're normally more pronounced, right? So we're like, uh-oh, keep looking, because we don't wanna put a car together and then find, oh wait, it's not fixed, right? So let's go check out all these little pieces. And so the other thing we're looking at is like the oil flow through the cam bridge. Everything actually looks good. We're gonna replace this because they wear out. VW updated these things. So they used to have all these little screens that would break off, and now the screens are in the spool valves. We're looking for like metal debris or something that caused the spool valve not to work smoothly. Nothing. It's like, wow, uh-oh, keep digging. We've already did the routine of like swapping these magnets to make sure they're not the problem. It's not, right? So we're like, uh-oh, we gotta dig deeper, right? So where is it? Aha. We're gonna replace this. This is an amazing design that Volkswagen Audi did. This is the camshaft, the intake camshaft. What has happened with this car, all these little sections are just individual pieces because it's easier for them to manufacture. So instead of making a whole camshaft as one big piece, they make it in little pieces, right? And then they take it and they just press it all together. This one has slipped. Somewhere between here and here, it has slipped just a wince and causing the tone ring to be off. So this was super common not super common, I've seen like 3 of them, right? I haven't seen one in the newer generation of engines, but here we are again. We found another one. So it's a pretty odd repair. Most often it's timing chain magnets, spool valves. This one's the camshaft. So we're gonna fix everything as we go back in, but pretty interesting. You don't see this a whole lot. So that's the first weird repair we have. Let's go see Sam. Sam has a cool car going on, right? This is a Mercedes, another check engine light. This is one that frustrates me because we're gonna fix the car. This has been a problem that Mercedes had with all of its engines for 10 years plus. The problem with this is it has a fault code for the variable oil control system. So what it does is it has an oil pump, and then it has a solenoid that bleeds off the oil pressure so they can lower the oil pressure at cruise. These are notorious for failure. You'd always see when you're like reviewing for fault codes, maybe the car has an oxygen sensor, a cam sensor, whatever, right? And then you'd also see this odd oil control pressure fault. Mercedes had a TSB forever. Just ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. They pretend it's not there, right? Well, in 2018, 19, it's now stop ignoring it, you need to fix it. I think what it is, it's more EPA standards that they're not allowed to ignore it. Previous cars, if it was causing the check engine light, we'd actually update the software and get it to stop turning the check engine light on and move on to the real problems. 2019 and newer, this is a 2000 built in like 9 of 2018. So it's actually a 2019 car. We re-updated the software and the fault still occurs, right? So we have to fix it. Can't code it out. So if you look under here, giant repair, right? It's this little valve right here. This is all we're fixing. It's nothing. It's gonna go bad again. This is extremely expensive for any technician to take so much of this car apart and put it back together. Where this bothers me a lot is this offers no customer benefit other than the check engine light. The whole reason this system exists is because they're trying to reduce emissions. And if they can lower the oil pressure just a little bit, it makes the engine a little freer at cruise. And then let's say the customer stabs the throttle, it turns the valve off and it has full oil pressure again. It also reduces some of the oil splashing that happens in the engine. And so as the crankshaft's turning, the oil splashing, the little droplets of oil, it doesn't slow the crankshaft down, and saves fuel economy. This is ludicrous, right? This is crazy stuff, right? Like the amount of fuel that we're saving because of the splashing of the oil is so minute versus the cost of this repair. This is one of the things I think that mechanics get a bad rap, because we're fixing things because these minuscule gains that the manufacturers have to get to meet the EPA standards that we're shooting for. The reality of take 10 horsepower to this car, take your foot out of the throttle. All those things would equal better fuel economy, but here we are, several $1,000s repair. It'll be fixed when it's done, but it's frustrating to see this. But it's a cool repair. You don't see often that engine taken apart this much in modern cars. Let's go look at a Mercedes. This is another one that's interesting. Sam, what was the original repair we did with this one? The original repair. That's what it was. This car's been here for a couple weeks. You may remember seeing this in one of the shorts or something. We put an ABS control module in this car. Cool, no big deal. They go bad, we fix them. We go to start this car, and all of a sudden, the windows don't work. I got a light warning out here. All kinds of these weird problems, like the windows. I got weird problems all over. Well, nothing to do with the repair that we made, like absolutely nothing. But the front SAM module, which is a system activation module, I think that's what it stands for. Basically, it's a relay box. It died. They die frequently. The disappointing part is Mercedes-Benz discontinued it. So we had to buy a used one. There's no options, like you can't buy them. So we have a used one installed. We updated the software, reprogrammed it. We're trying to get our auto one-touch windows to work. So we're gonna go backwards in software a whole bunch and then update several things in the car, update the door modules to try to recover our one-touch power door locks or power windows. This is super frustrating. We're not charging the customer for any of these other things because they bought it to us without this problem. Yeah, we didn't cause this problem, but it doesn't work well. Hey, by the way, we fixed the one thing, here's 10 more problems you have. Not gonna go well, so we're just gonna take that one on the chin, right? We'll go look at this one over here. This one I think's almost done. This is, any of the Audis, SUVs do this real consistently. The motor mounts go bad. The motor mounts are silicon filled, so you can kind of see the goo. It doesn't look like much here, but it leaves this huge mess under the car of all this silicone fluid leaking out of these things. Yeah, it's just bad design in my opinion. It's just not robust enough, because I'd say half the cars that we look at have a motor mount that's failing or failed. This one had both failing and starting to make the motor move excessively. Super common on Audi, Volkswagen, unfortunately, all their SUVs. So I think we're waiting on the right part, and then Richard's gonna finish this one up. I have one more super interesting vehicle, right? Which I think's outside. Do you know the key number of that car? Let's go find a key. Let's go find this car. Volkswagen, 4-cylinder. This is probably one of the more severe cases that we see, but if you come in close, I'll show you what's the underlying cause of most of the problems we're going to see here. So this thing is a valve cover gasket. Mind you, the valve cover holds the cams down, so it's not just take the cover off and put a gasket in. You have to address the timing chain, loosen the tension on the timing chain. If you don't loosen the tension on the timing chain, you cause the problem with that Audi that has the cam gear slip. You actually cause that, right? But we don't do that. We loosen the timing chain, and then you can take the valve cover off and on. The oil leak on the valve cover causes a water pump leak. And oddly enough, since we do enough of these things, I have a water pump to show you. This is on one from last week. What happens is the water pump below the intake manifold, the oil leak from the valve cover runs down the side of the engine and covers this water pump. The rubber gasket in here was never meant to have oil on it, right? But it has little weep holes or little air holes that allow oil to get in here. The oil gets inside this rubber O-ring, swells it up, and then it actually cracks the plastic. So you see how swollen this O-ring? It actually cracked the plastic, right? And it cracked the plastic over here too. And so it's not the water pump's fault. It's the valve cover's fault, right? And so this is disappointing because I would hope somebody's told this customer, it's the first time we've seen this vehicle, that, hey, this valve cover leak's important, don't let it go, don't let it go, don't let it go. Unfortunately, people ignore it and they go, it's not a big deal, I don't see many drips on the ground. Well, this car didn't have any drips on the ground. The oil leak wasn't bad, but we know it's there. This one's done it again. This one's pouring out itself. So I hope somebody's warned this customer, hey, you're going to cause thousands and thousands of dollars of damage if you just keep doing this, right? I don't see drip in the ground. I don't see a problem. It's coming. The ignoring cost is costly. So another odd one. So if you have a Volkswagen Valkyrie leak, don't ignore it. It causes the water pump leak. When you start adding these things up, it gets expensive because most often this has a high mileages. We're going to start looking at the timing chain wear to make sure we're not going in here, touching the timing chain, and then now you have a timing chain fault. Most likely when you get to this point, they probably haven't serviced it well. They probably haven't used the right oil, or they're extending their oil changes and probably just have a timing chain on the edge of wear. The intake manifold or intake valves get carbon. They're probably going to take the intake manifold off this car and find a whole bunch of carbon. So like this is a compounding issue with this car. Like it's going to take thousands and thousands of dollars to get this thing back up to par. But I hope somebody was educating her along the way and they've been told this. That's how we handle things, but I don't know. It's the first time seeing it. Unfortunately, we're seeing this customer for their first time with a whole lot of problems. So, but we're just gonna give them the honest answers. I think that does it. I think that's all the cool stuff in the shop. Everything else is the coolant leak and oil services. So, easy stuff.